Hello and welcome to Who's the GOAT, a podcast where we seek to acquire the ultimate wheel knowledge so that we may finally answer Who's the GOAT. I'm Arthur and I'm joined by my co-hosts James.
Hello.
And Marco.
Hello.
So how this works, in each episode, one of us will research a season and present it to the other two. And today, I will be presenting the 1953 Formula 1 season. So a quick recap for both the audience and the two of you. In 1952, we had new regulations for Formula 1. They were actually just the Formula 2 regulations. So the F2 regulations were introduced after Alfa Romeo's departure to make sure there was still some competition in the sport. Am I right, James?
Yes.
Alberto Ascari became world champion after a dominant season where he won 6 out of 8 races. Our former world champions weren't able to put much of a fight, with Farina unable to match his teammate Ascari, and Fangio getting into a big crash that left him out of the season. All caught up?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Alright. Our teams and drivers for the 1953 season would be Ferrari, back with their dominant Tipo 500 and a lineup to match it. Reigning world champion Alberto Ascari, fellow war criminal Luigi Villoresi, world champion Dr. Giuseppe Farina, and 1952's rookie wonder Mike Hawthorne.
Wait, why war criminal? Am I missing something?
Mate, did you miss the whole bit? Like him and Ascari were like selling fuel
To the fascist army.
It's been a while since we did the 52.
That was in 50, dude. Do you listen to... Alright, Marco, honest to God, have you listened to a single episode?
I have, comes out, goes in one ear, comes out the other.
After sitting out most of last year, except for their one appearance in Monza where Gonzalez scored a second-place finish, Maserati are fully back this season. Behind the wheel of their A6 GCM, we have world champion Juan Manuel Fangio, race winner Jose Frolian Gonzalez, who at this point has never finished a race off the podium, and one-time podium finisher Felice Bonetto is also here. So the season will mainly be the Ferrari show with the Maserati almost show. But here are other drivers who will reappear throughout the year. These include Maurice Trintignant on his 4th season for the Gordini Works team, racing their Type 16. Sterling Moss, who after moving around in various ship British teams will mostly race for the Cooper Works team in the Special T24. Lance Macklin, 2nd season with the HWM Works team in the HWM 53. Prince Bira joins the Connaught Works team in the Connaught Type A. I hope that's how you pronounce the name of the team.
No.
Connaught. Paula de Graffenried in a privateer Maserati A6 GACM. Louis Rosier in a privateer Ferrari 500. And Johnny Clay in a privateer Connaught Type A. Hello, Marco. I can see you in my document.
Hello.
And for 1953, our racers had 10 rounds to duke it out for the World Championship, starting off in South America. For this year, the Formula 1 World Championship would actually bother to be a bit more around the world, starting the season in Argentina at the Autodromo Municipal 17th de Octubre, named after the day the supporters of President Perón rallied to get him released from jail.
Did they get him released?
Yeah, they did. Held only 4 months after the 1952 season closer, 16 cars were entered for the January 18th race. Ferrari and Maserati show up with their full lineups, as well as additional Maserati for Oscar Alfredo Galvez. Gordini are here with their drivers, plus a few locals, and Cooper are here with 3 guys, none of which are Sterling Moss. Connaught, HWM, and assorted privateers did not attend.
Oh, what money issues?
Well, going to South America ain't cheap, especially back in the day. I guess Johnny Clay, despite his immense wealth and ability to show up to everything, just couldn't cut it this time.
Couldn't cut it.
What a loser!
Can't even afford to go to Argentina.
For a race, like change careers, bro.
In qualifying, Ferrari domination seemed to continue on from last year, with Ascari on pole, Villoresi and Farina in 3rd and 4th. For his home race and return to Formula 1, Fangio managed to put his Maserati in 2nd, breaking up a potential full front row lockout. Fellow Argentinian and teammate Gonzalez was 5th, ahead of Hawthorne.
What did you say was the grid formation?
4-3-4.
4 slots, 3 slots, 4 slots.
This is a football formation?
Actually, there's one player too many, so it'd be a 4-2-4.
Whatever then.
Wait, no, 4-3-4, that's 11.
Yeah, but in a formation you only count 10. The goalkeeper, you don't count the goalkeeper.
Well, look at me, I don't watch football.
Can tell you don't play it either.
For the inaugural race at the circuit, Perón had made sure that attendance was high, advertising for it heavily, and on race day, somewhere between 300,000 to 400,000 people attended. Some reports even say 500,000. It was packed, with spectators even lining up on the side of the track.
500,000 people.
Well, allegedly. I mean, there wasn't a lot to do back in the day,
Well, Argentinians sure do love their sports personalities.
They're also gonna host a World Cup pretty soon, so you know.
But in general, the numbers are 300 to 400,000 people. The police tried to contain the masses, but Perón told them to let as many people in as possible. Drivers were uneasy with this, worried for safety, but they were thinking about calling it off, but then they thought, hey, if we cancel the race because we think there's a huge mass of people and it's dangerous, what do you think the huge mass of people will do to us? Do you think they'll riot by any chance?
Maybe.
And so the race went on as planned, and at 4 p.m. they were off. Ascari led off the line, with Fangio right behind. Of the event, Hawthorne said, "Time after time, I waved at them to get out of the way, but this only made them worse. They began standing in the roadway holding shirts and pullovers, which they snatched away at the last moment like a toreador playing with a bull." The foreshadowing is pretty obvious.
What happened?
On lap 21, a stub axle broke off one of the Coopers and a wheel went into the crowd. Then on lap 31, Farina, while trying to avoid a spectator crossing the track, spun out and crashed into the crowd at Curva Nor-Este, killing 13 spectators and injuring many more.
I'm sorry, but what kind of crashes across the live racetrack as well? Like you have to be demented to do that. Genuinely demented.
The thrill.
Like
Well,
like,
you see people with
high
rally.
cue point.
Have you never crossed the street at a red light thinking I could run that?
I don't think that's the same thing.
Sort of like false equivalence.
No, I think you should. I think the better comparison is trying to run across a highway.
Fair enough. I'd run across a highway. I reckon I could tank it.
Well,
you
even
would.
then, like
You-
cars on the highway go like 150 tops, and here they're going 250 minimum. So
Even at this time?
yeah, they were quick, man. Like
Arthur, you can tank it.
Thanks. I don't think that's a compliment. I'll take
You're
it.
calling him fat, or
Yeah, he's calling me big boned.
oh, okay.
No. You can tank it. Oh, you're a solid man.
News of the crash spread out, and people started panicking, leading to a boy running out on the track in front of one of the Coopers, killing the boy.
Oh,
Despite all this, the race continued. Bonetto and Fangio retired on laps 32 and 36 respectively, due to mechanical problems with their Maseratis. Ascari ended up winning the race comfortably, leading every lap, getting the fastest lap, and lapping every other driver. His teammate Villaresi would finish second, and Gonzalez closing out the podium in third. Hawthorne was in fourth, and Argentinian Oscar Alfredo Galvez in a Maserati getting the final points-paying position. The guy who killed the child before, Alan Brown,
God damn it.
went on to finish the race in ninth, last of the finishers and 10 laps behind. Makes you wonder if it was worthwhile, Alan.
I don't think it was. Well, maybe to him it was.
Did you think it's also a thing like the car got so damaged because he killed the boy that it slowed him down
Yes,
significantly?
probably.
Or...
I think are we giving Alan Brown a lot of credit in his HWM? Yeah, I think he might have just been shit.
Yeah.
I mean, also, but you know, like,
And I mean, this man is a child killer, so
I don't think he.
an unintentional child killer, you know.
No,
right, a child manslaughterer.
was he arrested after the
Fair enough,
race,
yeah.
or did they just keep letting him race?
No, I think they just ran back home to Europe. Moving on.
You know.
Standings obvious. They're the same as the finishing order. Moving on to round 2, and we're moving up to North America for the Indy 500. And none of the guys bothered showing up, so they went all the way to South America, but the Indy could not be asked. Held on May 30th, we have our usual array of Americans, and out of 10 Formula 1 Championship Indy 500 podium sitters, 7 have qualified, including the 1950 Indy 500 winner Johnny Parsons in 8th. And I also want to shout out a guy in 18th called Spider Webb, because it's a great name.
No way, that's
Fair
his real
enough.
name.
That's
It's
a plausible name.
It's like Stingray Rob.
Yeah.
You know?
That'd be
I mean,
Are you not going to mention the fact that one of the guys died during practice?
his name is Travis Webb, but he goes by Spider.
Ah, see, so it's not a real name.
No, unfortunately, Spider Webb is not his real name.
Lamau.
Arthur, I just want to, quickly shout out. There is Chet Miller, who during the practice for the Indy 500 died.
They just bring
so
up the
just-
guy
just
who
wanna-
died.
Rest in peace to him. We've
Oh,
already
well,
had too much death this
last
season.
time, so.
We haven't had any. Oh no.
Edward-
Yeah.
Fuck.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
We're 2 races in. What do you mean we haven't had anything?
Okay, so we're 2 races in and we're at 15 dead people.
Yeah.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Let's shoot for 40.
Bill Vukovic would end up winning from pole, leading every lap except laps 49 to 53. He also scores the fastest lap point, putting out first place in the F1 Championships alongside Ascari. Sam Hanks, who had finished third in the 1952 Indy 500, finishes third again this year.
Is he related to Tom by any chance? No.
Although this one's a shared drive with Dwayne Carter, so only half the points.
Then get these drives out of here, bro.
Is he related to Tom by any chance?
I ignored that, and I will cut that out of the episode.
But is he really?
And so our standings, as per usual, after the Indy 500, everything's doubled up because...
Is he related to Tom?
No, it's not.
Well, except you have the curiosity that the fact that the third place finisher is higher up than the second place finishers.
What?
Well, when the second ones had a shared drive? Is that what you said?
No, Sam Hanks and Dwayne Carter in third, so they shared a third place finish. So they're just below. Yeah. They're below fifth place finisher Hawthorne. No.
Yeah. Okay, but it's just like,
fourth place finisher Hawthorne.
Would you rather finish first with a shared drive or third by yourself?
Which half of the shared drive am I doing?
It's a 50-50. It's a 50-50 drive. You both race the same amount of laps.
Yeah, but like, do I do the first half or do I cross the line?
Doesn't you cross the line.
No, yeah, of course I do the shared drive then.
It doesn't really count though. It's a bit.
It counts half points. Don't you think it's cool to share one with the boys, you know? Share a drive with the boys?
Nah, bro, give me all the glory. Fuck
yeah,
you.
Well, exactly. Do you count a Le Mans win any less because it's a shared drive?
Fair.
No, but that's a 24-hour race. Of course, no one can do 24 hours on their own.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
Okay, see you there.
Third round, third continent, and our regular fellas are back for the Dutch GP. Now, the track had only just been resurfaced with a special non-skid tarmac. But because it hadn't had enough time for the top dressing to wear off, there were large quantities of loose gravel around the track, and corners ended up being really slippy, so not a success on the special non-skid tarmac there. Qualifying went as expected, with the top 6 being identical to the one in Argentina, except Farina and Villoresi are swapped around. In 7th, we have first of the privateers, Toile de Grafenried, followed by Rosier in 8th. Moss is 9th, for his and Connaught's first appearance of the season. Then we have Trintignant in 12th, Bonetto in 13th, Macklin in 15th as best of the HWMs, and in 17th, not last place, we have Johnny Clay.
Ooh.
20 total entries, so...
Johnny Boy.
The race also went predictably. Ascari stayed in the lead, while the rest of the Ferraris and Maseratis battled amongst themselves. Getting into the first corner, Fangio got squeezed by Villoresi and Farina, dropping him down to 4th.
As in, you had to, brake to avoid contact?
Well, because they were, converged in, and he sort of had to, back out, because otherwise they would have crashed.
Elliot.
This order remained for the whole race. Hawthorne followed in 5th behind Fangio. Then there is a large gap to the rest of the grid, led by Moss. Lap 7, Macklin retires. Gonzalez had a bad start, going from 5th to 14th on lap 1. He slowly made his way up the grid between Hawthorne in 5th and de Grafenried in 7th. He slowly gained on Hawthorne, but on lap 22, Gonzalez became our 4th retirement of the race due to a broken half shaft. But don't worry, Gonzalo heads, the race wasn't over for him.
Another shared drive.
After rushing into the pits, he took over Bonetto's car. As he started again, he was a lap behind the Maseratis. On lap 37, Fangio retired, his second of the season, because of a broken rear axle. At this point, Gonzalez had made his way back up to 5th, passing de Grafenried, and was well on his way to catch Hawthorne. On lap 48, he had closed in, but he spun out at the Tarzan hairpin.
That's the actual name of the hairpin?
Tarzan? I think so.
Oh, that's turn 1, yeah.
But why is it called Tarzan? Like the monkey?
Well, he's not a monkey. He's the guy who lived with monkeys.
Oh, well, the monkey, the guy who fucked.
Yes, like monkeys and gorillas.
James, have you ever heard a conversation more ready to be cut out from the episode than this one?
I'm not even paying that much attention to it. Honestly, I'm applying to uni right now, so.
All right. You might think the race is over, but no. With only 12 laps to go, Gonzalez manages to overtake Hawthorne for 3rd. Hawthorne tries to keep up with the Argentinian, but eventually falls behind, much to the displeasure of Ferrari, who felt like he could have done more to fight for that 3rd place. After this, things stayed pretty much the same. Ascari won, followed by Farina, Gonzalez, who only scores 2 points because of the shared drive, Hawthorne and de Grafenried. Fastest lap point went to Villoresi, who had retired on lap 67. Would you like the current standings?
Can I just ask?
I would appreciate the current
also,
standings.
but can I just ask? Remember when you said that Gonzalez got a podium in every race he participated in?
He finished.
Oh, he finished. Ah, okay. So since he didn't finish this one,
Important asterisk I put there.
and he didn't finish this one.
Yeah, but I said so far, because at this point in his career, he retired. So in 1951, he got a second, a first, third, second, second. In 1952, he got a second place. And before that, he'd retired 3 races. Before all of those podiums, he'd retired 3 times in 1950 and 1951. So, So far, his record stands.
Okay.
Where was I at?
The current standing.
Oh, the standings, yes. In first place, Alberto Ascari with 17 points. In second place, Bill Vukovic with 9 points. Third place, Luigi Villaresi with 7. Fourth place, we have Farina Gonzalez, second place finisher of the Indy 500 Art Cross, and Hawthorne. And then, that's enough, Round 4. After 2 races, Ferrari had shown itself as the clear dominant team, with the Maseratis not able to really put up a fight. The issue came from the chassis, which just wasn't very good. But on a circuit like Spa, where high speed is key, this wouldn't be as much of an issue. And with the engine powers being comparable, Maserati had a chance.
Wait, so you're saying that since Spa's a high-speed circuit, the chassis doesn't count as much?
Well, the flaws in the Maserati chassis won't weigh as much.
Sure.
Do you disagree with that?
The engineer disagrees.
I mean, I don't get it, but...
It's something about the low-speed turns that...
Oh, but did you by any chance just read something off the internet and not really pay attention to
No,
it?
Motorsport Magazine. Oh, yeah, by the way, shout out to Motorsport Magazine once again. We're stealing all your work for this podcast.
Borrowing.
Sure.
Taking inspiration from.
Ferrari have once again brought their quartet, while Maserati have changed things up a bit. Benetto is absent, and they've brought on Onofre Marimon, who will be a Maserati regular from here onwards, and Johnny Clay. Gordini have their usual trio. HWM and assorted privateers are present. The Maseratis did not disappoint, with Fangio getting a pole with a 4-minute 30, the first for the team. Behind him were Ascari and Gonzalez. Second row was made up of the Ferraris of Farina and Villaresi, and on his debut with the team, Marimon managed a 6th place, with the rest of the third row being Hawthorne and Trintignant, fastest of the non-Maserati Ferrari cars. Fourth row is the row of the sort of who's the GOAT fan favourites, with De Graaf and Reed and Clay. Then we have Rosier in 13th, and Macklin is worst of the HWMs in 17th. On June 21st, the cars lined up on the grid for the Belgian Grand Prix. Ascari caught in between the 2 Maseratis on the front row. Could this be their day? Gentlemen, what do you think?
Well, I already know what's going on, so yes,
Shut up.
it is.
Wait, what do you mean? Who? I mean, they
Well,
are the Maseratis.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Well, no. In that case, no.
I liked how I thought you were playing along and you were like, yeah, I think it is good. I think Maserati's got this one.
James has the power of foreshadowing.
As the flag fell, Ascari had a poor start and Gonzalez took the lead from Fangio. On lap 3...
Wait, did they pick it up afterwards?
Pardon?
Did they pick it up afterwards? Because you said the flag fell, so...
Oh,
someone had to pick it up.
get this guy out of here.
Who fired this guy? On lap 3, Ascari was 14 seconds behind Fangio, with Gonzalez even pulling away from him. And you can see my little picture in the document if you'd like to as well.
That is a very nice picture.
A Rouge?
Yes?
Yeah, by the way, all that stuff on the left, those are people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell.
You think they're I thought they were flowers at the beginning, but no, they're just actual people.
I
just
also
standing
thought
there.
it.
They look like
I
flowers,
also
yeah,
thought
true.
it. I thought it was like cotton of some kind, but no.
On lap 10, Gonzalez was still in the lead, and Ascari was almost a minute behind. Farina was in a comfortable 4th, while behind him, Villaresi, Hawthorne and Marimon were fighting for 5th. Further behind, Trintignant was still in 8th, with De Graaf and Reed and Clay close behind. Even further behind, Rosier was fighting for 11th. But then, everything came undone for Maserati. On lap 11, Gonzalez started slowing down and later stopped near Stavelot, letting Fangio into the lead, who then had to retire on lap 13. The specific issues for both of those would be listed as throttle and engine.
Not gonna lie, these guys sound like they fucking suck, honestly.
Who, Maserati or Gonzalez and Fangio?
Maserati.
I think it's just more the car.
Yeah, but therefore, the car, it's Maserati's fault. They suck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Dumbass.
No, but Marco, fuck it, never mind.
No, I was agreeing with you, Arthur. I was agreeing with you, Arthur.
Ferrari inherited a 1-2-3, and things seemed to be back to the status quo. The reliability of the Maseratis just wasn't good enough. But Clay was quickly called in, and Fangio took over his car. Clay reportedly giving him an encouraging pat on the back before he took off. Now in 8th with 23 laps to go, Fangio had his work cut out.
That's kind of what I dream in life, actually. Just a big pat on the back for Clays.
On lap 16, Farina retired due to an engine issue. The remaining Ferraris settled in, with Ascari in the lead, followed by Hawthorn, Marimon, Villaraisi and Fangio. Lap 19, Macklin retires. The race seemed to be done, but then, on lap 29, things went wild. Hawthorn had damage to his fuel pipe and had to coast into the pits for more fuel, dropping down to 7th, and Marimon lost power, but continued the race at a reduced pace. This still left Ascari in the lead, but now, behind him, were Villaraisi and Fangio. Ascari crossed the line, a lucky win for him, followed by Villaraisi. Fangio's bad luck continued, and on the straight before Stavelot, his steering column broke, causing him to spin out. Luckily, he only had some bruises, and later arrived at the finish line in an ambulance. So 3rd place went to Marimon, followed by de Graffenried and Trintignant. Hawthorn just missing out on points in 6th. Fangio's just not having a good time this season. So the standings. Alberto Ascari now on 25 points. Luigi Villaraisi up to 2nd place with 13. And Bill Vukovic keeps himself in the top 3 with 9 points.
Wow.
We move on to round 5, the French Grand Prix. Now in Reims again. And not to oversell it, but it is popularly known as the race of the century.
Sounds like you are overselling it, eh?
Ferrari arrived late at the event, only being able to participate in the final sessions. But this didn't stop Ascari from taking another pole position with a 2-minute 41.2. The Maserati behind him this time was Bonetto, although it had been Gonzalez who had set that time, but in his car. So
he's taking his...
it was cars being entered, really. So Bonetto got to start in 2nd.
We should put Bonetto on fraud watch, man.
He already is on fraud watch.
Yeah, but even more because of
Did they not have enough cars for the both of them?
Well, they did have cars for both of them, but they didn't really have qualifying. They had practice sessions, which the times would be taken from that for the starting order. And so, for some reason, Gonzalez was driving Bonetto's car because Gonzalez did too good a lap in the wrong car. The rest of the order would be as follows. Villaraisi, Fangio, Gonzalez, Farina. All these cars were separated by just 1.3 seconds. Then we have Hawthorn, Marimon, de Graffenried, Rosier and Bira, making his first appearance for the season for the Connaught Works team, best of the non-Ferrari/Maseratis in 11th. Moss was down in 13th, Macklin 16th, Clay 21st. Trintignant was also down in 23rd, having not set a time, for reasons I shall soon explain. And in 25th, we also have special guest Louis Chiron in an Oscar. So this truly is the race of the century for Who's the Go.
I didn't know he was an actor.
Now, the actual Grand Prix was preceded by a 12-hour sports car race, which had been won by Moss, and several of our GP racers had taken part in it. They had done this because Reims was trying to sort of make the French GP an institution on par with Le Mans. So they were sort of hosting a Grand Prix, a sports car race. They were trying to elevate their level of popularity.
That clearly didn't fucking work, did it now?
Not particularly, no. Now, during that race, the sports car race, the leading Ferrari had been disqualified for having received a push start and for switching off side lights before the appointed time. James, would you like to explain what side lights are?
I can explain what side lights are. Why am I supposed to know this?
Because you're Mr. Le Mans /sports car /endurance.
Fair point. Go on then.
You're putting me on a...
Oh, he's fumbling.
Oh, like the headlight. You mean headlights? Okay.
It's side lights. It said side lights, but I assume those are headlights, yes.
It's just a part of the headlight.
Alright. So
the whole headlight is in the whole assembly, and then the side light is just sort of the bit above that.
There we go. So they switched off their headlights, or part of their headlights too soon.
They got them disqualified?
Yes. The decision was quite controversial among both spectators and the Ferrari team, who in response had threatened to withdraw from the Grand Prix.
Oh, wait, no. Actually, I have an even better answer of what it is, because you have the main headlight.
Yes.
And then it's usually sort of the part that is on the side of it, so it doesn't have the full beam, but it's just a little part next to it. So it's kind of similar to what you would have in sort of your when you have your headlights on the day, you don't have the full thing on.
The high beams,
just a little
the low
bit.
beams.
Kind of, yes, more or less.
All right, there we go, Mr. Endurance here.
That's what the ladies call him.
Things were settled down. phone calls between, Rems and Ferrari home base were made, and they were back. They stayed in the race. And so back to Formula 1. The race began, and Bonetto and Ascari both had good starts. Villoresi, on the other hand, was slow, which gave Gonzalez the opportunity to move up. It's worth noting that Gonzalez had decided to start the race with half a tank of fuel in the hopes that he could take the lead and make himself a big enough gap to refuel and keep it. Start of lap 2, and Gonzalez had pulled it off, and he was in the lead, followed by Ascari, Villoresi, Bonetto, Hawthorn, Fangio, Marimon, and Farina, with Trintignant in the Gordini best of the rest. On lap 3, Bonetto spins out, dropping him down to 10th. Gonzalez in the lead was building up the gap to the rest of the pack. Behind Ascari, Villoresi and Hawthorn were fighting side by side and swapping positions around regularly. Further behind, Farina was being chased by Fangio and Marimon, with Trintignant behind trying to keep up. We then have a large gap, and then we have De Graffenried and Bonetto. Trintignant would unfortunately retire on lap 14 due to a transmission issue, and by lap 22, Gonzalez had a 20-second lead, while the Ferraris behind were still battling it out. Not long after, Fangio managed to clear Farina and was now catching up with them in the fight. Biro retires, and on lap 30, Gonzalez has to pit to refuel, re-emerging in 6th behind Marimon. At this point, the 4-car pack in the lead were still fighting, with Hawthorn and Fangio swapping the lead regularly. Of the fight, Motorsport magazine says, with half the race run, the first 7 cars were still going as if it were the opening lap. Lap 33, and it's Hawthorn and Fangio in the lead, still fighting it out, the others having dropped a bit behind. Another quote from the Motorsport magazine article, which I recommend, you read because it's really good. The young English boy was driving all he knew, and lap after lap, he and Fangio appeared out of Tilloy so close behind one another that it looked like one car, which then split into 2 as they approached the pits and disappeared under the bridge and round the full throttle right-hand curve, side by side. The battle went on, with the Maserati and Ferrari each having advantages around the circuit, and with 2 laps left, Hawthorn and Fangio crossed the start-finish lines side by side, with Gonzalez and Ascari close behind. At this point, the crowd was going wild, and as the 4 drivers reached the checkered flag, it was Hawthorn who won it, followed by Fangio, Gonzalez and Ascari. This was Hawthorn's first win and the first race of the season not won by Ascari, excluding in the Indy 500 obviously. Fastest lap went to Fangio, and Farina closed out the points-paying positions. This was Fangio's first finish of the season, after 4 retirements in 3 rounds.
Sounds like a pretty banger of a race, honestly.
Honestly, I recommend both of you to read the report because it's a good read, and I don't think I did it justice.
Have you been able to find any sort of footage from it or not?
I didn't check, but I guess you can find it.
Keep talking and I'll try and find some.
We're at the halfway point of the season, and the standings are as such. Marco Ashley, try and guess the standings.
Why do I have to guess?
Because James is looking for footage of the 1953 French Grand Prix.
Ascari's still in first.
Yes, 28 points.
Farina?
Nope. He's down in 6th.
Jesus.
Kick!
Who won the race, Marco?
Yeah, Hawthorn.
Hawthorn is in 2nd with 14 points.
All it took was 1 race. I didn't think he'd jump up that much.
Well, he was 5th at this point. He had 6 points, so...
Like, the proportion between sort of first and last place is outrageous, honestly, so...
Then 3rd place, Luigi Villoresi. 4th place, Jose Frolian Gonzalez. Bill Vukovic in 5th with 9 points. Then Farina, Fangio, 6th and 7th. Now, I hope you enjoyed all of that, because we're back to our regular bullshit. Round 6, British Grand Prix. Ascari managed to get a pole position in the rain with a 1 minute 48, followed by Gonzalez, Hawthorn, Fangio, Farina. 6th place, we have Villoresi and Marimon, and the fastest of the rest again, Trintignant. Felice Bonetto was all the way down in 16th, 10 seconds off pole. Bira is in 19th, and despite having cars that should be way ahead, privateers Rosier and De Graffenried are all the way down in 24th and 26th, 19 and 20 seconds off pole respectively. The race starts, and after turn 1, Fangio is leading, but goes wide. Ascari seizes the opportunity and takes the lead back. Behind them, Villoresi and Gonzalez follow. Then Marimon, Hawthorn, Farina, and Bonetto.
Check your Discog, please.
Is that British Grand Prix footage? Alright, you can watch that while I describe it.
Yeah, of course.
Lap 3, Hawthorn spins out at Woodcott and falls down behind
Oh,
Trintignant.
I just got that. I just got that.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well, as Arthur was saying it, I just got that on the video.
Crazy. After this, the order among the front runners didn't change much. From lap 17 to 42, the top 6 stayed identical. Ascari comfortably in the lead, followed by Fangio, Villoresi, Gonzalez, Farina, and Marimon. and even then it was just Farina and Marimon swapping places for 14 laps before the previous order returned until lap 65, when Villoresi retired, the 16th one of the race. Also on lap 31, Macklin retires. A bit before lap 70, there was a heavy rainstorm, which led to a few more retirements, but Ascari managed to keep it steady. The rain stopped and Ascari cruised to victory, a minute ahead of Fangio. Third place we have Farina, followed by Gonzalez, and then Hawthorne. After starting in 16th, Bonetto finished in 6th. Bira managed a 7th despite spinning out in the rain, and last of the finishers we have Rosier in 10th. Fastest lap point was shared between Gonzalez and Ascari. And this podium would actually be the first time we have a full world champion podium. And spoilers, this won't happen again until 1965. Round 7, and we're at the Nürburgring. And I'd like to read out a line of Motorsport magazine's report. Fortunately, Nürburgring is not a dangerous circuit. Even though the average speed is high, there is seldom any damage done, for the whole route is bordered on both sides by comparatively soft hedges and grassy banks.
But it sounds stupid, and it is. But
back in 1953, the peak of road safety was a bush.
No, but you remember the Fangio's incident last year, where he flipped into some hay bales.
Yes, but
the hay bales had been there for the hay bales had been there for so long that they had completely hardened and were just very, very dangerous to him, and they did cause him quite a bit of damage. So having live trees and small bushes around the circuit doesn't seem that bad,
I still feel like there's better ways of doing safety, but then again, what am I?
Exactly, and all that hindsight of yours, it's
Also, they couldn't give an exact figure on the average speed. They just said it was high.
Well, they just meant the average speed is high. They're going very fast, is what they're saying.
Oh yes, they are going very fast. No, not to worry. There are bushes where they crash in.
The race will also feature the only 4 drivers to ever race under the East German flag.
Oh yeah.
Pardon?
Oh no, I thought you were gonna name them.
Oh, I can name them if you want.
Yes, I want to know the four East German Glubschitters that raced at the 1953 German Grand Prix.
Theo Fitzau, Ernst Klodwig, Rudolf Krause, and Edgar Bach.
Yes, thank you, narrator.
You're welcome. Our usual lads are here. 4 Ferraris, 3 Maseratis, 3 Gordinis, 3 Connaughts, 1 Cooper, Clay, De Graffenried, and Rosier. Who's missing?
Sorry, what did you say? It cut up. Sorry, I didn't listen.
The Connaught? Oh no, the Connaught's there. 3 Connaughts. 1 Cooper, Clay.
What, there's a team missing, you're saying?
There's 4 Ferraris, 3 Maseratis.
Oh, where's the 4th Maserati?
Gonzalez is missing. He couldn't attend after...
Yeah, that's what I was about. Just gave me a fucking second, I was thinking about it, okay?
Gonzalez had been in a crash in Portugal and will not be attending any of the races for the rest of the season. But there's also a team missing.
HWM.
Is it the fuck-ass German team from last time, which had 75 entries?
Marco got it right. It is HWM. And Veritas is the team you're mentioning, and actually they're linked. So HWM were refused admission. Their spots going to various German drivers, most of them behind the wheels of Nürburgring-based manufacturer Veritas. Only ever run by privateers, this event will be the last Formula 1 race where one of their cars is entered.
Veritas is too close to Dignitas.
It is.
For a drive that will kill you.
I mean, at this point in Formula 1, any drive will kill you, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, the first 2 practice periods were cold and rainy, so most of the drivers did the bare minimum to put in a quali lap, and that's it. Saturday morning, the weather started to turn around, and the drivers started setting proper lap times. Ascari once again put his Ferrari on pole with a 9-minute 59.8, 3.9 seconds ahead of Fangio. Then we have Farina, 0.4 seconds back, followed by Hawthorne, another 8.5 seconds back. Second row, we have Trintignant in 5th, ahead of Villoresi, Bonetto, and Marimon. Then we have De Graffenried in 11th, ahead of Moss. West beats East with Hans Hermann in 14th, followed by Bira, Rosier in 22nd, Clay in 25th, and on August 2nd, 35 cars lined up for the 18-lap race. And as the flag fell, Fangio took the lead. A few turns in, and Ascari and Fangio have already built up a gap to the rest of the field. And before even making it halfway around the circuit, Ascari was back in first. And by the start of lap 2, he had a 10-second lead. Fangio had slipped back, and Hawthorne was closing in. 16 seconds behind them came Farina, leading the rest of the field around, the current order being Villoresi, Bonetto and de Graffenried. Trintignant had a mechanical issue, and his great quali effort was to be for nothing, as he entered the pits at the end of lap 1 to retire. It seemed like we were in for another race of Ascari domination. By lap 5, he was 37 seconds ahead of Hawthorn and Fangio, Farina still 16 seconds behind. But then, Ascari is spotted entering the pits, his car now only on 3 wheels. Now, and actually I'd like to, because I have a book here, Fangio's My Racing Life.
Bro, what the fuck? This guy reads actual books? What a loser.
No, good on him, man.
So this is Fangio talking about Ascari. Then, suddenly, he lost his right-hand side front wheel. Hawthorn and I were behind him when it happened. To this day, I have no idea how he stayed in control and escaped unscathed. It happened on the fastest part of the track. I thought this might be my cue to victory. So Ascari coasted into the pits, avoiding the use of brakes for fear of locking up. But luckily Ferrari were at the end of the pit lane, so he managed to sort of get to the end.
Surely that can't be your biggest worry when you're on 3 wheels that you're gonna lock up. You know?
That was Ascari's biggest worry. 4 minutes, 12 seconds later, he was back on 4 wheels and in the race, down in 9th. Now, even the motorsport reporting here seems baffled by this. And Fangio is also in his biography. So he says, I thought this might be my cue to victory, but what happened next bore out the rumour that was going around at the time, that Farina was suffering from an Ascari complex. I realised that they were waving blue flags at me, the signal that someone was about to overtake me. Who the devil could it be? I looked in the rear view mirror. It was Farina. He overtook me, and I couldn't keep up with him. Then he did the same to Hawthorn. The Englishman slackened his pace a bit, since it was his teammate that had gone in front of him, so I challenged him and passed him.
Like, he ignored the blue flags and decided to try and race him.
Who? Fangio?
Yeah.
No, Fangio got the blue flags and just Farina zoomed past him.
Oh, okay, he didn't try to fight it back.
Well, I don't know if he tried to fight them. I think maybe Farina at this point is just possessed. He's driving like the world champion he is.
Driving like a man possessed.
So by lap 8, he's taken the lead. Hawthorn now down in 3rd, Fangio still in 2nd. Farina quickly built up a gap to Fangio, putting 10 seconds a lap on him. Hawthorn, on the other hand, started getting tired and accepted his 3rd place.
Wait. So did you just say 10 seconds a lap?
That's what I read. 10 seconds a lap. I mean, you can check the finishing order, I guess, and they will let you know if it's...
No, it's like... props to him, it's a crazy amount.
Down the field, we have Villoresi in 4th, too slow for the front runners, but well ahead of the rest of the pack. Then we have Bonetto, de Graffenried and Ascari, who by lap 9 will overtake them both. Now, I hope you're ready for some bullshit, Marco. I know you love a shared drive. But on Ascari's 9th lap and Villoresi's 10th, they both pit and swap cars, putting Ascari in 4th and Villoresi in 13th. So now Ascari is...
Oh, yeah.
He's made up that lap.
Well, I guess prioritize your number one driver, but yeah, if I was Villoresi, I would have been petty enough to take a shit in the car before giving it to my teammate. So
good to know.
You want to take a shit in your car that your teammate's taking away from you? Hey, taking away a full. Huh?
I don't know if I'd have the sort of
I don't
the shit ready.
I don't think I want to take a shit in any car, bro.
I would put a book under the brake pedal.
Okay, see that's better.
You try straight up murder then.
Exactly, it's the murder. I take a shit in the car and you have to smell shit for the remainder of the race.
Ascari is pushing hard, improving the lap record for F2 cars twice, trying to catch up. But lap 14, Farina has a 48-second lead over Fangio, who is 42 seconds ahead of Hawthorn, who in turn has Ascari right behind him. But it was not to be, as Ascari is once again in the pits, with smoke coming out of his car, gifting 4th place to Bonetto. Ascari was out, the 18th retirement of the race, beloved charlatans Beer and Clay being amongst them. And Ascari is quite devastated by this retirement. He was described as being distraught while leaving the car and sort of going out of the paddock all sad. So, a tough defeat for him. And after 18 races, Farina is back on the top step in Formula 1, his last win being at the Belgian Grand Prix in 1951. A minute behind him, Fangio finishes 2nd, followed by Hawthorn. Bonetto manages to keep 4th ahead of de Graffenried, who at this point was coasting as he had no brakes. Then we have Moss in 6th and Villoresi in 8th.
Wait, did he happen to have a book under the brake, or?
Maybe. Now, because of that joke, I'm going to have to keep Marco's previous comment about taking a shit in the car.
Yay.
West
You're
Germany
welcome, mate.
beats East Germany with a P9 by Hans Hermann. The best East German only in 14th. Rosier gets another top 10, but still no points. Out of 35 qualifiers, only 16 finished the race. This also means that Villoresi is the only Ferrari works driver to not have gotten a win this season. He also hasn't won in Formula 1 yet. So, because of the 4 best results rule, at this point in the season, only Ascari, Hawthorn, and now Farina can win it. Ascari almost has the max number of points you can score in a season. He has 33.5 out of 36. For Hawthorn or Farina to win the championship, they need to win the remaining races with at least 2 fastest laps. Next race is the deciding race, the Swiss Grand Prix.
Remgarten.
So if neither Hawthorn or Farina wins it, it's over, and it's Ascari. Now, I'd like to go for a quick piss. James, would you like to host briefly while I'm pissing?
My headphones are about to die, so this is the perfect moment for me to take a piss. I mean, to charge my headphones.
This whole piss thing also does sound pretty good. I'm going to do it as well.
Okay, welcome to Who's the Goat's new segment, Piss Break. Round 8, and we're back in beautiful Switzerland, ready to race around the Bremgarten circuit, acclaimed by many people as one of the best road racing circuits in Europe, according to Motorsport magazine. All our usual favourites are here. Ferrari, Maserati, Gordini, HWM, who have been allowed to compete this time, and Rosier and de Graffenried are in their usual cars. Practice sessions took place over the course of 2 evenings, and Fangio and Ascari are once again fighting it out for pole. Everyone else just not on their level. At the end of day 1, Fangio was fastest with a 2 minute 40.1, followed by Ascari with a 2 minute 40.7, then Farina, Trintignant. Day 2 it rained and everyone was much slower. Ascari and Hawthorn were fastest in the wet but not fast enough to change the order. So the starting order is the one from before. Behind Trintignant we have Marimon in 5th, followed by Villoresi, Hawthorn and de Graffenried. Then Bonetto in 10th, Rosier in 14th and Macklin in 15th. As per usual, when the flag fell, Fangio and Ascari were off and in the lead. Farina had a terrible start and fell down to 7th. End of lap 1 and Ascari is already in the lead and building up a gap. Behind him are Fangio, Hawthorn, Marimon, Villoresi, Bonetto, Farina, de Graffenried and Trintignant. Again, the power of the Gordini unable to match the Maseratis and Ferraris. Rosier had spun out in the woods and had to retire. And actually, quite a funny thing, I was looking at the Motorsport magazine issues for the year, and actually in the October-ish, because this race took place, in August, and actually in October, Paul Frere, who was also at the race, sent in a letter as a correction saying, "From your report on the Swiss Grand Prix, one gets the impression that Rosier's Ferrari touched my HWM through a fault of his own and was promptly deflected into the bushes as a consequence. In all fairness to this driver, I would like to emphasize that he had to brake rather hard in order to avoid another competitor, and that I, who was coming up fast behind, could not avoid touching his car, taking Rosier unawares." This was written by Paul Frere.
That was pretty nice of him.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mention Paul Frere last time.
You did, yeah. I didn't bring up Paul Frere much.
But yeah, he's like one of the sort of journalists that first...
Yeah, true. I remember.
Put it on Formula 1 and as a sort of discipline of a sport.
Well, Paul Frere actually got a 10th place this year at the Belgian Grand Prix. One of 2 appearances. Where was I? Things stayed mostly the same up front. On lap 5, Marimon had lost 3 places due to a poor lap, while Farina was making up lost places, passing Bonetto, Villoresi and Hawthorn, putting himself in 3rd by lap 7. Lap 10, and Ascari is way out in the distance, with Fangio seeming to go slowly. Maserati then call him and Bonetto into the pits. And Marco, can you guess what happened?
Something went wrong with the pit stop? Oh no, they switched.
They swapped cars, and they are out again. Fangio then pits again a lap later to change a wheel, dropping him down to 9th. Lap 20, Villoresi is in the pits. His car dented after contact with a fence, dropping him down to 6th.
Contact with a what?
A fence.
A fence.
Oh, okay.
Hey man, these cars were built to last. Hit a fence, get on with it.
Not much happens between then and lap 28. Ascari was well into the lead, followed by Farina, Hawthorn, Marimon, Bonetto and Fangio. But on lap 28, Fangio is going round with smoke coming out of his car. So much so that it was impeding visibility around him. Lap 29, he's in the pits and the car is retired. On lap 29, Macklin also retires.
Did Macklin retire every single race this season?
I think he did. Well,
he did retire every single one of his appearances, yes.
That's very impressive.
Well, it's not his fault.
This is also why I keep bringing him up, because it's funny, because every time you're like, oh, Lance Macklin's here. No.
Nope.
While first and second place were locked in for Ascari and Farina, third place was still up for grabs, with Hawthorn and Marimon fighting it out. Lap 39 and Ascari's car is making weird noises and heads to the pits. Now in fourth, Ascari starts his charge back up the field. Farina now in the lead. Hawthorn and Marimon are still fighting it out. Trintignant, who had been running well, retired on lap 43. Lap 50, we have Farina still in the lead with Hawthorn behind. At this point, the sun was going down, and so the drivers had to drive one-handed so they could shield their eyes from the sun. Ascari had been told to slow down, with Hawthorn being a lap ahead, but he ignored the signal and caught up, and by lap 52, he's ahead. Lap 53, he overtakes Farina as well. This order ran till the end of the race, which was 65 laps, and Ascari puts another win on the board with fastest lap. And so, because Farina and Hawthorn did not win this one, Alberto Ascari is now mathematically world champion. They cannot score enough points to match him.
So he's won it.
He's won it, yes.
Boring.
Alright, well.
I know, no, boring just the fact that he's won it, with 2 races in hand.
2 races in hand, wink wink.
Wink, wink.
Oh, no, never heard of it. The first time hearing this,
Round 9, Italian GP. It's September and we're at Monza. Our usual boys are back, and Ferrari have brought in guinea pigs Umberto Magliolini and Piero Carini to try out the new Ferrari 553. The prototypes didn't impress much in quali, coming in 11th and 20th. Let's see if you can guess the quali order.
Alright, Ascari
it's gonna be like it's gonna be Ascari.
No,
Farina,
Fangio, Ascari, Farina.
and then
Wrong.
Fangio, Ascari, Farina.
Wrong.
What?
It's Ascari on pole,
Oh.
Fangio in second, Farina in third.
Come on, mate. Like we pretty much did that. Come on.
Well, you were talking over each other, so I just heard Ascari, Farina, Fangio just repeated in various orders. You might have said the correct order at some point, but you didn't,
Oh my god, bro.
You're full of piss,
You're
mate,
a fraud.
You're just like a big bag of urine.
You're built like a sack of potatoes.
Is it Marimon in 4th by any chance?
Yes.
Oh.
Is Hawthorn 5th?
No, he's 6th.
Villoresi?
Is it Villoresi? Is it
Yes.
Villoresi 5th?
And
Alright.
then Happy Chappy, Felice Bonetto, 7th, Trintignant 8th, Toller de Graffenried 9th, Sterling Moss 10th. The race starts, and Fangio had a poor start, so Ascari gets in the lead, again, with Farina behind him. But the Maserati power, as mentioned, same thing for Belgium, makes up for this, and halfway through lap 1, Marimon manages to take the lead, and Fangio is right behind the Ferraris. These 4 would battle it out for most of the race, with Ascari mostly managing to keep the lead. Things get really interesting on lap 79, at the final corner. Ascari and Farina are side by side, and Ascari spins. Farina goes off track, trying to avoid him. Marimon doesn't dodge in time and hits Ascari. Fangio manages to make his way through the mess, and wins. His first win of the season, sort of a gifted win like that.
Very good.
Very nice.
Farina got off the grass and into second, and Villoresi third. Rest of the finishing order, Hawthorn 4th, Trintignant 5th, points in a Gordini. Then Louis Chiron, another 10th place, Prince Bira 11th, Moss only 13th, Rosier 16th, last of the finishers. Johnny Clay unfortunately retired. Lance Macklin retires on lap 6 as well.
Shock.
Of course he does, bro. Like,
now on to round 10, the Spanish Grand Prix, and I'm just getting news that it got cancelled.
oh wow, really? What a shocker!
Damn, bro.
The Spanish Grand Prix got cancelled. First time happening, doesn't it?
What's interesting is it got cancelled after the Italian Grand Prix. So the races, so the Grand Prix was supposed to take place in like October or something, and it got cancelled in like September. They were just like, well, actually, you know what? Ascari's got this in the bag. We don't have any money. Why don't we just, call it a day?
Everyone go back home.
We know what we're saying.
Call it a day. You know what? Let's chill out, ladies. You know, why are we gonna make all the huff?
All right, Ascari, well done, bro.
Hey, Pedro Alves, are you just broke and you can't afford to have a race? Nah, man, it's not that. It's just that
What?
No, I'm not. What do you like, bro? I'm not broke.
Dude, I'm not broke. I could 100% host a Formula 1 race. I thought you wouldn't want to do a Formula 1 race, because it's kind of boring. And so, our final standings for the season. Would you like them?
Yes, please.
No.
Alberto Ascari wins with 34.5 points, which are actually 46.5 points. Second place, Juan Manuel Fangio with 28, actually 29.5 points. Nino Farina, 26 points in third, actually 32 points. So he'd be second if it weren't for the best of 4 rule. Mike Hawthorn, 4th place. Luigi Villoresi, 5th. Gonzalez, despite, stopping halfway through the season, keeps his 6th place. Bill Vukovic is 7th. Tolle de Graffenried, 3 points finishes. He's 8th. Felice Bonetto, big fraud, 9th, 6.5 points. And Art Cross, 2nd place finisher at the Indy 500, is 10th. Now, before we move on to funnier things, I'd like to do a little epilogue. In August of the year, legendary pre-war era racer Tazio Nuvolari passes away after a stroke.
Rest in peace.
Between 25 to 55,000 people attended his funeral. His coffin placed on a car chassis and pushed by Ascari, Villaresi, and Fangio. Now, this guy was before the time of Formula One, the Formula One World Championship, and therefore before the sort of scope of the podcast. But his racing record is incredible, with wins at the 1932 Monaco Grand Prix, 1933 24 Hours of Le Mans, amongst his 150 victories. So a legend gone,
Legend of the game.
who I underrepresented, I think, in lists of top racers.
I mean, I think in general, like any of these sort of pre-Formula One races are just very, very overlooked.
And also in November, Felice Bonetto dies racing the Carrera Panamericana. While under pressure from Taruffi, he missed a warning sign and crashed into a village, the collision with a building killing him instantly. Rest in peace to both of them. On a lighter and far dumber note, I'd like to, do the honourable motorsport shout-out section, where we talk about a driver outside of Formula One to show our appreciation for motorsport as a whole. And this year I nominate Duncan Hamilton. So, quick bullet points about his life. Born in Ireland in 1920, fought in the Second World War flying for the aviation component of the Navy, started racing in the early 50s. Between 1951 and 1953, he entered 5 Formula One championship events, his best result being a P7 at the 1952 Dutch Grand Prix, driving for the HWM Works team. But outside the world of Formula One, Hamilton was much more successful, and one of the highlights of his career would come at the 1953 24 Hours of Le Mans. Quickly mention some people you might recognize at the race. Mike Hawthorne and Giuseppe Farina driving a Ferrari.
Okay.
Reg
Very
Parnell
good.
and Peter Collins in an Aston Martin. Juan Manuel Fangio and Onofre Marimon in an Alfa Romeo. Lance Macklin is here.
Did he retire?
Lance Macklin did retire, yes. He retired at lap 29.
Poor guy, man.
He could not catch a break, yes.
Wait, what's Lance's record this year? Like, did he genuinely retire from every single race he entered? Right, keep going.
Louis Rosier, Felice Bonetto, Jean Berat, Louis Chiron, Robert Manzon, Gonzalez, Pierre Levet, Ascari, and Villaresi. So our man Hamilton would be driving a Jaguar C-Type alongside Tony Roll, also in Formula One, not very successful. Now, there were low expectations for the Jags. Basically, every other team had brought new machinery while they were still running their 1951 car, which had won that year, but that had won 1951, but then in 1952 hadn't done great. To further add to the sort of poor expectations, they were disqualified during practice because they were running a car with the wrong number. It's a bit of a messy situation. Basically, they had 2 cars. Jaguar had 2 cars on track with the same number, which meant they were disqualified. The duo was devastated and decided to go to a bar and drink their sorrows away.
Honestly valid.
On race day at 10 a.m., their manager found them in a restaurant, quite hungover, having spent the night drinking. What they didn't know is that they were back in the race, and the fine for the infraction had been paid off. And now these 2 hungover and sleep-deprived men had a 24-hour race to do in 6 hours. 2 hours before the start, and the fellas were not doing good. Reportedly, they were offering black coffee to Hamilton, but he refused and instead had, I think a whiskey it was. But they were driving well. They were heading the field by the afternoon. And then, basically, this Jaguar, number 18, the hungover Jaguar, was fighting an Ascari Villaresi Ferrari for the lead. The battle raged on all night. They were going at it, the lead swapping between the two. At some point during the night, while Hamilton was driving, he hit a bird, and it broke his nose.
Jesus.
What kind of bird was it?
I don't know what kind of bird it was, but end of the night, Hamilton took the flag at 4 p.m., winning the race. Now, Tony Roll, the co-driver, and the manager both deny the claims that Hamilton and Roll were driving hungover, but Hamilton, from what I understood, in his biography, confirms the story of him driving super drunk. And at this point in time, Hamilton and Roll basically hadn't slept in 48 hours. They may have had a few naps in between, but
No, but like, it sure they had naps like while the other was driving because you're
they
only
probably
driving.
had naps. But we're not talking about a full night's sleep still.
Yeah. Completely crazy, man. What the?
So my honorable motorsport shout out goes to Duncan Hamilton for winning Le Mans while hungover.
That's pretty good. Duncan Hamilton and Tony Roll. Let's not forget,
And Tony Roll, yes. But I specifically picked Hamilton because he looks funny. He's got a big beard. He looks like.
Should we do the ranking?
Yeah, let's do the ranking.
Rank my balls.
Good one. So,
Who's the goal?
Who is the GOAT? Well, for this season, Ascari.
Marco, take it away. Who's the GOAT?
My mom, shout out to her. She is definitely the GOAT. I think for this season, Ascari, won every race apart from the Indy
Wrong.
500 and
Loud and correct buzzer. He did not win in France, Germany, or Italy.
Some kid did not pay attention, bruh.
No, wait.
You're looking at the 1952 season, kid.
I am looking at the 1952 season.
Oh, Marco, that's not getting edited out. You know that.
Okay, I'm gonna start.
Ascari is still the GOAT, though.
I think Ascari is the GOAT. He had a pretty incredible season. Like, he was dominating every race.
Ascari?
Yeah, Ascari.
Yeah, 100%. And then, like his teammates, Farina, Hawthorne, Villarese.
His
and
teammates...
wait, who else was in it? Bonetta was in it? No,
Bonetta's Maserati.
But De Graffin was also in a Ferrari.
Maserati, yeah. No, Rosier was in a Ferrari.
Yeah, well, anyway, yeah, he dog walked all of his Ferrari teammates. Yeah, like he retired twice because of Italy was a dumb thing that he spun out.
Yeah, but outside of that, he's pretty flawless.
Outside of that, it's pretty flawless. Well, we don't know why he lost the wheel in Germany.
Shit happens.
Shit happens. And what happened in France? Because he arrived fourth.
Happened in France where he arrived fourth.
Was it just like not very quick? Oh no, because it was super close, So like he finished still 5 seconds behind the winner.
I mean, it was the race. It was the race where the Maseratis actually sort of showed up and were properly competitive.
I want to give like a pretty strong shout out to Fangio as well because.
Well, I think he's second place.
He had 4 retirements.
He's a really strong second place because he was.
He had 5 retirements in 4 races. So.
Yeah, I think he was really strong. He was there.
Qualifying form as well was just very strong.
Qualifying, and like the Maserati just wasn't as good. And despite this, he was on it. And he was so unlucky in the first 3 rounds, and then he was unlucky again in Switzerland. He didn't really have any mistakes. He just had bad luck. So I think that's the second place for Fangio. Then Marco, who are you placing third?
Good question.
This guy was falling asleep, wasn't he?
No. Well, no, we've been recording for so long that I'm just awake now. So.
Okay, third place.
Hawthorne?
Hawthorne. I'll be frank. I think it's Farina. He's got a lot more points. Farina has an extra retirements, and Hawthorne.
It could go either way.
I think
I'm just gonna say, like, I'm just gonna go on Hawthorne's defense here. He's half the age of Farina.
Yeah.
So like he's still a young blood.
Yeah, but that doesn't. He's got room to improve. But this season, there's multiple occasions where Hawthorne had that incredible win in France, but outside of that, Farina kept him in his place, showing him, who's boss.
Yeah, but technically Hawthorne. Oh wait, no, I was about to
say
finish with more points. No, Farina technically finished with more points than Fangio.
Exactly.
So
he isn't the best car, but he's still,
He was nowhere near his teammate either,
Yeah, but I think he's still better than Hawthorne, who was in the same car as well.
I'm gonna say Gonzalez third.
Gonzalez third.
Because he was there for half the season, and that half the season he did was very good. 3 P3s, a P4.
Yes.
It could also be a good shot.
Pardon?
It could also be a good shout.
I see. I still think Farina had a better season, but it's true Gonzalez.
All right, okay. I'm down to put Farina, but then you put Gonzalez.
Farina, Gonzalez, Hawthorne, then we say.
All right, yeah.
And Villarese after that.
Type shit.
No, actually, I want to put Marimon a bit higher as well, quite high. I'm quite surprised by him.
Onofre.
Who are we doing next?
Luigi Villarese? I don't know, seems like a safe choice.
Nah, fuck Villarese.
What do you mean?
But no, it's like he got dog walked by all of his teammates, bro, and a rookie teammate at that. So.
You win some.
But he did get.
No, I want to put driver for Ferrari who did not get a win this year. I want to put Trintignant. impressive qualifying, and he got unlucky.
Yeah,
Like, he had
sure.
4 retirements.
No, I want to put Marimon.
Marimon? Marimon,
No,
fair.
but I'm going to put Marimon lower because he was in the Maserati.
Also, he had 4 retirements. Fuck, that's a lot. But he did 3rd place on
But,
debut.
but they were not really any of his faults either.
Yeah.
I say Trintignant up there in 6th and Marimon in 7th because I was still very impressed by. He only had 1 retirement before this, and none of his retirements were his fault. I want to put Lance Macklin. Wait, are we going to start also from the bottom? Yeah, okay. Johnny Claes is dead last.
Is Johnny Clay dead last? I think.
Yes.
Dude.
I think Rosie was worse.
But like, cut the old man a break, you know.
Put the old man a break.
Okay, Lance. I think. You know what? No, I'm not taking this slander. Lance Macklin's last.
What? The only reason you brought it up because it's foreshadowing, but
Bro has not finished a single race this season.
well, not really his fault, innit?
So 6 entries, 6 retirements.
It's not good. But were they his fault? And he was in a HWMW. Come on.
Clay had a 12th place finish.
To be fair, also like in this year's 24 hours, he DNF'd. So yeah, you know what? I'll let that slide.
There we go.
I want to put then Twala de Graffmarine.
No, Tuolo had an impressive season. Maybe we should rank him a little higher.
I'm gonna put him 8. Yeah. It's not. I'm gonna put it below Marimon, but still like. Then Luigi Villarese in 9th. Then Felice Bonetto. I'd say after Villarese.
Honestly, these last 3 for me are easy, interchangeable.
I think it's Rosie and Bonetto. Bonetto did get a shared podium.
Put him in the middle, and then I'm gonna put John Bira.
Rosie at 10th then? Oh yeah, that's fitting for Rosie to be 10th. So our final ranking for the 1953 season, we have Ascari in 1st, Fangio in 2nd, Farina in 3rd, Gonzalez in 4th, Hawthorne in 5th. Which means our updated Who's the GOAT ranking, as of 1953, Ascari is the GOAT. How do we feel about that?
Pretty good for now.
He's had some pretty
Makes
banger
sense.
seasons, to be honest. Between 1952 and 1953, he's not put a foot
I
wrong.
know
Really.
bangers.
I mean, yeah, he's on a massive streak as well of wins now. Like up until the Belgian Grand Prix, he was
Yeah, he'd been on a streak.
a 9-win streak. So
Yeah. 2nd place,
So-
Fangio. 3rd place, Farina. So top 3 are world champs. 4th place, Luigi Fagioli. 5th place, Mike Hawthorne. Young lad. He's still got a lot of potential. This season, he was good.
the fact that Fagioli only did 1 season with a 7.5 means that he will be there.
Yeah.
He'll be our
there for
benchmark.
quite a
benchmark. He'll be
while.
our benchmark for what a good season is. Now, what other bits do we have in this format? Honourable mentions. You know what? Honourable mention to Mike Hawthorne for winning the race of the century.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
We
We
all agree on that.
Yeah, I think we can all agree.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? We'll do an episode without a biggest fraud. How about that? It's all good spirits.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, whatever you want. I think just because the man's dead doesn't mean that we can't give him a fraud watch. But
Okay, well, James is keen on giving a dead man biggest fraud of 1953. That's his call.
Give a dead man a fraud watch.
Putting a dead man on fraud watch. Really, nothing sacred to Jimbo.
But you know, what? I've just ended up on Felice Bonetto's Wikipedia page, and I did see him pulling off a sick drift in the Chile Italia. So you know what? I'm gonna take him off fraud watch. I checked that shit out, bro.
All right, let's go. Let's go look at Felice Bonetto.
Ooh, drifting. He looks calm.
Yeah, come on.
Oh shit, that looks
I
fire
found this
actually.
He looks calm on.
Yeah, you know he's off fraud
Yeah,
watch,
yeah,
dude. That
but-
looks incredible.
He's off fraud watch.
One
off
of you
fraud
to
watch.
posted on the Who's the Go Insta.
Now we get to our emails/letters section. So if you'd like to write in an opinion or something about Who's the Goat or something we've said, write in at who'sthegoatpod@gmail.com. And for this week, we have an email.
Oh.
It reads, "Hello, I enjoyed the 1952 episode a lot. Hearing about Maurice Trintignant, I wondered if he was related to Nouvelle Vague actor Jean-Louis Trintignant. As you're probably far too young for this, Nouvelle Vague is a sort of arty, black and white, slow and slightly boring French cinema of the 1960s. Anyway, Maurice Trintignant is indeed the uncle of Jean-Louis. He is also the brother of Louis Trintignant, a motor racing driver who died at the Grand Prix of de Picardie in May 1933, driving a Bugatti Type 35. Signed, Karine. Well, thank you very much for that email, and, good fun facts. Right, well, thanks for listening. Join us next episode for Marco's report of the 1954 Formula One season.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Fuck off!